Hey guys, this is undercoverdudes all the way from down under, and today we're going to be talking about skins, overpowered weapons, and the convoluted naming system that we have for weapons right now in Combat Arms. This video is the first part of a two-part series. In this video, I will go in depth and explain the current weapon system for Combat Arms and how broken it is. In the second part of this series, I will go and talk about the new core weapons and a solution of how to go and fix this completely broken weapon system once and for all. If you play Combat Arms regularly and are very up to date, then this video may not be very necessary, but it's still a pretty good watch in my opinion. However, the second one is definitely for you. If you haven't played Combat Arms in quite a long time, go and watch both videos for this series because they give you a ton of insight into the weapon system we have right now. If you guys played Combat Arms a long time ago, the naming system for weapons was quite simple. Let's take the M4A1. You would have the M4A1, normal weapon, whatever, and then you would have the NX variant, the cosmetic NX variant, the M4A1 Desert Warrior. And for the M4A1 series, that was it. Then you would have, let's say, the M4A1 CQBR and all that, but that, to me, is a completely separate weapon. And M416, the CQB, all of that, completely separate weapons, okay? So with all of that, you would have the original gun and then the cosmetic skin, which you could go and buy for NX. And that system worked in Combat Arms quite well. Was it perfect? No, but for the low amount of weapons and the very organized way Nexon went and released weapons at that time, it made sense. Fast forward to 2016, let's go and take the M4A1 Desert Warrior, originally a cosmetic variant of the normal M4A1. In Combat Arms right now, we have many variants of the exact same weapon. Well, not exactly the same weapon, but you would be very hard to know if you didn't go and try these different versions of the exact same gun in-game. Starting off, we have the M4A1 Desert Warrior. This is exactly the same gun that was introduced into the game in 2009, whenever it was, and it's remained the exact same throughout the whole lifetime of Combat Arms. The second version of the M4A1 Desert Warrior is the Ace M4A1 Desert Warrior. Now, before I specifically talk about this version, let's go and talk about Ace in general. For people that don't know, Nexon went and completely revitalized the GP rental system in Combat Arms, and it includes a lot of NX standard weapons. Now, with that, what Nexon has gone and done is you have the normal weapon, the M4A1 Desert Warrior, normal, that I just talked about before, and then you have the Ace M4A1 Desert Warrior. And this is not only for this gun, this is for the M416 CQB, this is for the L96A1 Arctic Wolf, this is for a ton of NX standard weapons in this game. Now you may ask, what is the difference between the normal version and the Ace version? Well, the Ace version has slightly increased statistics. I mean, 1 or 2 damage more, maybe 1 or 2 less recoil, maybe 1 or 2 higher fire rate. All in all, there is no tangible difference between the normal version and the Ace version. The Ace version simply just looks cooler, and it costs about 400 GP more in the store. All in all, it is convoluting, it's a trap for new players to go and spend more GP, and all in all, it makes absolutely no sense. Alrighty boys, we're a few down, but we've got many left, so let's go to the next one, and that is the Visionary M4A1 Desert Warrior. Now, if you guys have ever gone and used the KDR HP vision in Combat Arms, basically, you go and put your crosshair on top of an enemy, and it will go and tell you the enemy's HP and the enemy's kill-death ratio. Now, in normal elimination, one-man army, whatever, this was completely useless. Absolutely useless, because the game is so fast-paced. That means time to kill is quite fast, and overall, if you even cared to check the enemy's HP, you would probably be dead because you would be distracted for that split second where somebody could go and snipe you out of a corner or whatever. I do admit it was quite useful in quarantine region, but outside of that mode, it was basically useless. So Nexon recently took that out of the game, and they decided, okay, nobody cares about KDR HP vision. We want to go and make some more money on people that will go and buy an X and buy whatever weapon we go and release. Ding ding, let's go and take the recently removed KDR HP vision. And that, the recently removed, is going to be a common theme throughout this video. The recently removed KDR HP vision, let's go and strap it onto an M4A1 Desert Warrior, and then call it the Visionary M4A1 Desert Warrior. But let's go and nerf the KDR HP Vision even more, and just have it as a bar that actually doesn't represent the amount of health. It's just so general that it's okay, the enemy's dead or the enemy is alive. Like, it doesn't give you any tangible information at all. So with all of that said, the Visionary M4A1 Desert Warrior was simply just the most useless variant of all these weapons. There's no point for it to be implemented. It's simply just a cash grab, and I don't even know if they made any money, because I don't think anyone could be that stupid to go and buy this weapon. Alright boys, you've really got to go and strap in now, because we're going to the bumpy part of this ride, and we're going to be talking about the next variant of the M4A1 Desert Warrior, and that is the M4A1 Desert Warrior Custom. Now, if you guys remember, about a year ago, there was a thing in the game called Bubba's Emporium. And in Bubba's Emporium, you could go and customize your weapons. Now, this was quite good for GP users, because GP users could go and take, let's say, the M4A1 Desert Warrior, and then they could go and customize it, getting all these types of customization parts just from the, the Wheel of Fortune, whatever. It was all free, and then you could go and take your standard weapon, and then you could go and beef it up a bit, and try to go fight against, the rather overpowered NX weapons in the game. You could go and give yourself increased damage, increased fire rate, reduced recoil. Overall, the Bubba's Emporium wasn't implemented into the game very well, but for GP users, it was a bit of a lifeline. Where Nexon started to go wrong was where they let you customize NX weapons, and you could customize the M4A1 SOT mod, and right now the customized M4A1 SOT mod is probably one of the most broken guns in the game. I have it in my inventory. I vow not to use it because it is so overpowered. So what Nexon did next was they completely removed customization, and we're like, hooray, hooray, nobody can go and customize their really overpowered NX weapons. They can't go and do that anymore. But I was also a little bit sad because the GP players couldn't go and customize their M4 and make it a little bit more beefier to fight against the NX players. So overall, it was a neutral thing, taking out customization from the game. But what Nexon did, the next thing they did, it makes my blood boil. Now, not as much as the next variant that I'm going to talk about a little bit later on down the line, but this is really bad. What Nexon did was, if you want to go and buy a customized version of a weapon, you wouldn't be able to go and do it for free anymore. You would have to go and buy that weapon directly from the store, of course, for NX. So, for example, you would have the M4A1 Desert Warrior Custom. That was 25k NX for permanent, and yes, it had a slight increase. Was it an increase enough to go and complain about? Maybe a little bit of a difference. But the whole thing was, they took something that was free and then gave it back to us that we had to go and pay real money for. Again, that put even more confusion for newer players. What's this version of the gun? It has slightly better stats. Oh, I have to go and buy it for NX. It's, again, another cash grab. And again, it completely goes and convolutes the weapon system of this game. I said, why have you gone and done this? And no response. Mouths were shut. Everything was silent. And to this day, I still don't know why they've gone and implemented custom weapons in the game, because it makes absolutely no sense. It's simply just another cash grab. More weapons are going put into the store, therefore a higher possibility of somebody going and clicking on it and buying it with NX. It is overall a disgusting method to go and get people to pay money for this game. And looking back at 2009, it makes me really sad that they had a really good system back then, not perfect, and now they're going to this. But I haven't even talked about the next version. And this version is by far my most hated version. And, okay, I gotta calm down for this next one. Okay. So this next one is called the Loaded M4A1 Desert Warrior. Okay. Now, anybody that didn't play Combat Arms very recently would say, okay, Loaded, maybe you'd go and have like a pre-customized scope, and then you would have a silencer, maybe an extended magazine. And you would be correct. There is an inbuilt silencer, there is an inbuilt scope, and there is an inbuilt custom magazine. But saying that, the weapon has also been completely tuned to be one of the most overpowered weapons in the game. Now, what's the difference between the normal M4A1 Desert Warrior, simply a cosmetic, and this version of the gun? Well, this version has a magazine size of 70. In comparison to 30. 70 versus 30 bullets. Absolutely insane. It's basically a machine gun without the portability. You would also go and have, and there was a lot of stuff like increased aiming and a little bit of decreased recoil, and overall, we didn't care about that too much. The magazine size was one thing that was very, very overpowered, but the thing that everybody hated was inbuilt stun bullets. It's as the name says, when you go and shoot somebody, they get stunned, they slow down, it's hard for them to go and move. And in such a fast-paced game like Combat Arms, if you're not moving at maximum speed, it is so easy for people to go and kill you. 70 bullet magazine, in conjunction with a suppressor, in conjunction with decreased recoil, in conjunction with the stun bullets, meant that this weapon was, a kick-on-sight weapon. It was ridiculously overpowered. We also had the loaded M6A2, the loaded MK48 Mod O, the loaded G36E Valkyrie. I'm getting PTSD right now just thinking about that weapon. Overall, loaded weapons was a complete overpowered mess. And Nexon eventually realized this. The massive community backlash was too much, and they eventually removed it from the store. But they did not remove it from the game. Very recently, a couple of days ago, the Scorpions won the Spiders vs. Scorpion event, and in the Mist 5, which is basically a clicker case from ages ago, basically, in this Mist 5, you could go and get loaded weapons. But guess what? There was more loaded weapons. A loaded M416 CQB, a loaded L96A1 Arctic Wolf, a loaded Micro Uzi, I believe. I'm not 100% sure on that one. But I'm 100% sure on the CQB and L96A1 Arctic Wolf. And overall, we're scratching our heads thinking, why have you gone and done this? And a lot of people right now have 90-day loaded M416 CQBs. And again, that is kick on sight for many rooms that I know of. And with all of that said, that's the end of the first video. Click the annotation on the screen, the link in the description below, or the link in the comment section below to go to the next part, the second part of this series, where I talk about the new core weapons, where I talk about a solution to this whole problem, and hopefully you guys go and enjoy that. But other than that, it's Undercover Dudes, all the way from down under, out.